I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'm working with you step by step through the ABRSM Theory grades. We're now making good headway through the ABRSM Grade 2 Music Theory and Practice workbook. So grab your workbook and we'll be getting stuck into that. There's lots of resource available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find there some free PDF information sheets. This is the Grade 2 PDF set. It's available in US letter and A4 and it'll accompany each step of this series. There's lots of information that I'll be making frequent reference to. Everything you need to know is in this PDF document. There's also a page which links to all of my YouTube tutorials. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you can find all of that there. You can also access information about the books that I have available. If it is that you're working towards the exam, I've written a book, How to Take Your ABRSM Theory, and it's an exam technique book with lots of hints and tips of how to best prepare for the ABRSM exam and also how to make best use of the time once you're in that exam situation, sitting your exam paper. So if you go to sharonbill.com, it's all there for you. If you can give me a like, that'd be fab, that'd be encouraging to me. And if you could subscribe to my channel, that way you'll keep updated. There's loads more in store. I'm really enjoying working through this series, and so I hope you're enjoying it too. So let's crack on to finish off this section on minor scales. I refer to this as section E. So if you turn to your PDF document, and we need page or section E here, all about minor keys. And then if you turn in your music theory workbook, we're on page 16, going from 16 to 17. And so we're looking at exercise 4, which is the last part of this section. Again, it can only be using the information that's related to this section on minor keys. The only information that you need to know is these pairs of key signatures, the related keys. So you need to remember that A minor is related to C major, E minor is related to G major, and D minor is related to F major. The only other step is to remember that as an accidental we raise the 7th degree of the scale, and that will then create the harmonic minor form, which is what we're using in this exam. We'll leave melodic minor to grade 3. And so let's crack straight on to exercise 4. Name these keys. So that's step 1. There we go. We just need to do that. And then we need to write them out again, but this time we need to add a key signature. Leave out any unnecessary accidentals, but remember to add any that may be needed. This is your clue that we'll have the key signature for the related key, but then of course we need to remember that this raised 7th will always be as an accidental, so we'll need to add that in as we go along. So we need to do a little bit of detective work here. So let's look at the example they've given us. These are our clues. Bearing in mind we're in treble clef, we know that we've got an F sharp and a D sharp. Now in a key signature it's not possible to have an F sharp and a D sharp because 2 sharps is always F sharps and C sharps. So this D sharp cannot be part of the key signature. The only way of explaining this D sharp is as an accidental as the raised 7th. So if D is the 7th or D sharp is the 7th, E must be the 8th, therefore we are in E minor, that's the raised 7th. And this F sharp here would then be accepted as the key signature because it's related to G major, and G major has F sharps as well as E minor. And so we would then write that out. We'd have a key signature of F sharp, so there's no need to now add that accidental. It's covered in the key signature, but we must still raise the 7th as an accidental. Everything else remains unchanged. So I'll work through this next one with you. So let's look what clues we've got. We've got this and this. Now straight away we know that it's not possible to have a flat and a sharp in a key signature. That just can't occur harmonically. And so the only way we can explain this sharp, which is a raised note, is if we explain it as the raised 7th. Now we're in the bass clef, so this here is a C sharp. So if C sharp is the 7th, D is the 8th, that gives us our keynote or our tonic, so we are in D something. And we know that D minor has a key signature of B flats because it's related to F major, so that's our key signature. That's our raised 7th. And so really it's just looking for those 2 clues, and then all we've got to do is write it out again, but this time we would have a key signature of B flat, so that's now dealt with. Everything else will be copied. So let's just sort out our bars, get organised. There we go. So let's just get the blobs in, note heads I should say. Quick copy. We'll worry about the stems in a moment. I find it easier just kind of crashing on through the notes heads first of all. So here we no longer need that accidental sign because the key signature has taken care of that. However, this one, as the raised 7th, it's always an accidental, can't be included in the key signature, and so we still need to include that. There we go. And so all we need to do now is copy the stems. They've done all the thinking for us here, so just quickly copy that through. If you're not sure about keeping it neat and tidy, you use a ruler. I'm just trying to be quick here because you don't want to sit watching me peg away at that. And there we go, that's complete. And so those 2 will sound exactly the same because the B is still flattened because of the key signature. The C sharp remains as an accidental, and we've acknowledged that it's D minor, and there's our clue straight away, and then we know that it's got the key signature of B flat, so that tallies. So if you would like to turn the page to page 17, you've got a few exercises to go at here, and so I suggest you have a little go at these. I will just say, just as a little hint, exercise B is a little bit of a trick question. So you may find you've got something that feels a bit of unnecessary work there. I'll explain that in a moment. So I suggest you press pause, have a go at this, and then come back to me, pop back into the video when you've had a go. Don't worry about rushing, just press pause and reaccess when you're ready. Doesn't matter if you make a mistake, it's better to learn by your mistakes. We're only ever writing in pencil. And so I'll leave you to it. So I'm hoping you've had a little go at this page here. And so I think this is a little bit sneaky what they've done here, but I guess there's no way around it. Let's just think what's going on here. Here's our clue. We've got a G sharp. It's not possible to have a G sharp in a key signature on its own. If there's 1 sharp, it's always F sharp. If there's 2 sharps, it's always F sharps and C sharps, and it can never just be G sharp. So the only way of describing this accidental is as your raised 7th. So if G sharp is your 7th, the 8th is A. So we are in A something, and we know it's A minor because A minor has the raised 7th of a G sharp, and it also shares the key signature of C major, which is nothing. And so actually they've left us all this space to say write it out again with a key signature. However, if you write it out again, it will look exactly the same because C major or A minor has a key signature of nothing. And so we'd be copying all of this exactly as it was, and we still need this G sharp here because that's a raised 7th, which is always an accidental, and so in actual fact you'll just be doing the same thing twice. So that looks exactly the same. Bit of a sneaky trick question there, but it's unavoidable in that case. Let's look ahead at this next one. So I'll just perhaps go through these a bit quicker now, presuming that you've got the principle. So here's our clue. We've got a D sharp. So if That's not possible to have as a key signature all on its own. If there's a sharp, it's always an F sharp first. One sharp is F sharp. And so that must be the raised 7th. If D sharp is the 7th, E is the 8th. Now this is a little bit tricky as well, and it's quite sneaky in a sense. This is the difference between grades 1 and 2, where they don't always just spell everything out to you. So we're definitely in E minor here, because we know that this is our raised 7th. And we know that E minor is related to G major, which has a key signature of F sharps. Okay, now then, the problem is, why is there no F sharp here? It's quite sneaky really. I'll just let you ponder on that for a second while I just get this set out. If we glance through, we've got B, C, B, A, B, E, E, D sharp, E. The reason there is no F sharp is because in this little extract there's no F to sharpen. So next bar there could be an F sharp. If there's a note F, it will have a sharp on it. And so the only reason there's no F sharp in this little extract here is just because there's no note F present to sharpen. And so we still need it present in the key signature, because you never know, later on in the piece there's bound to be an F which will be sharpened later. And we need to show that we're in the key structure of E minor, which is related to G major. So it's a bit tricky, that is. Sneaky. However, that's grade 2, I'm afraid. So even when there's no F, we still need to show that it's in that key structure to show that we're in that related key of E minor, which shares the key signature of G major. So in actual fact, it's going to look exactly the same, because there's no F sharps here to then look different because it's been replaced by the key signature. But we do need, shall I join that up? We do need to still include the key signature to show that harmonic base. Okay, we're back to something a little bit more obvious here. Here are our clues. We've got a B flat and a C sharp. You can't have those together in a key signature. A sharp is raised. There's our raised 7th. So if C sharp is the 7th, D is the 8th, so we're in D, and we're in D minor because we know that D minor has B flats in the key signature because it's related to F major. So there's our key signature. And so now we just need to kind of copy all of this out with a few, well, just one slight alteration. So let's just get the note heads in. I suppose I can dot that straight away. It's just copying really, whichever way you find easiest to get through. So we no longer need the B flat because that's replaced by the key signature. However, we do need the C sharp accidental. There's our raised 7th. And this will sound exactly the same as the extract above. It's just written with a key signature rather than entirely relying upon accidentals. There we go. Marvellous. We get another slight sneaky question here, so we can just save ourselves a little bit of time here. Here's our clue. We're in bass clef, all Celtic grass. We've got a G sharp, so we are in the key of A minor, because if G sharp is the 7th, the 8th is A minor, and we know that A minor is related to C major, so if we're copying that out, it would have a key signature of C major, which is nothing, no sharps or flats. So we just get straight on ahead and copy. And so if we've copied all of this bar, carrying on, that will look exactly the same. So in actual fact, both extracts will look exactly the same because there is no key signature to replace another accidental with. Last one, let's have a look what we've got here. This is the last one in a very long section, but I quite enjoy this section. We've got an F sharp, and we've got a D sharp. We can't have those in the key together. It's possible to have an F sharp as a key signature on its own, but not a D sharp, and they can't go together because two sharps is always F sharps and C sharps. So this must be our 7th. If D sharp is 7th, E is our 8th. And so we are in E minor. That then explains the F sharp, because we know that E minor is related to G major and has a key signature of F sharps. And so now we need to go through this again. Oh, we've got another one there. There's another F sharp. And so, copying this out, these remain the same. However, this one, we no longer need that accidental sign because the key signature takes care of it. Copying still. Again, we no longer need the F sharp because that's in the key signature. However, we do need the D sharp accidental to show that that's our raised 7th, and that's always as an accidental. And there we go, just a few note stems and it's job done. If you feel better using a ruler all the time, by all means do so. And were you to come across something like this or this first one in an exam, of course you would have to take the time to copy everything out exactly. It's unlikely to come up in an exam in that format actually, because they're not going to ask you to copy things twice. But you know, you never know. If it does, you must still follow it through, dot the I's, cross the T's, and make sure everything's accurately completed. There we go, job done. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you can give me a like, that'd be fab. Subscribe to my channel, there's loads more in store. And please do go to sharonbill.com, it's all there. Do access all that information that's available to you. Thank you for watching, I'll see you next time. Bye.